Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. So in this video we'll understand how we can able to do a login validation using Spring Boot and Angular. So for the backend application we'll be using Spring, and for front end means for our web application we're going to use a framework called Angular, which is particularly we are using a version Angular 8. Okay, so now obviously I can agree that this video will be a little bit lengthy. Okay, so I want you guys to carefully follow the each and every step so that you won't miss any of the part, and I'll explain step by step so that you can able to do it very easily. Okay, clear, cool. So let's get started. So I have already opened my Eclipse, so it's not required to open Eclipse for the first time. So first we need to set up the project. Okay, so now what I want you guys to do is go to your any of your browser, okay, whichever your favorite browser is, and search for spring initializer. Okay, so for the click on for the first link over here, and this is where you need to set up your project. I hope if you guys know this means I am not going to explain everything or this particular web page. So if you have not seen my previous videos means please go and see that video, and suppose if you didn't understand this particular what is this everything means, so if you know means that's really great. Okay, I'll just continue with that itself. Okay, I'll just give the group name over here as let's say I need to validate the customer login. Okay, so um, let's say let's say school. Okay, let's say school, because I don't have any examples of school, so I'll take it as school itself. Okay, just I'm giving a name as school, that's all. So school, or let's say Instagram itself, we'll make something like that. Instagram. All right, so Instagram, and here also I'll mention as Instagram. All right, so jar and version I'll keep it as 8, and the dependencies, so what are the dependencies we need to use, so we're gonna add all those dependencies over here. Okay, so add dependencies. So first one I'll take spring web, because it's a spring web application, so spring web. And second one for as of now, so in my application I'll be using database as well, so that's why I'm including jpa. Okay, jpa. And I need the MySQL driver as well, so I'll add the MySQL driver as well. And also I'm adding one more dependency, is called spring build tools, sorry, spring dev tools. Okay, spring dev spring boot dev tools over here. Okay, why I'm going to add this dependency, because with this dependency our application can be live reloaded. Okay, so that's why I'm adding this. As you can see over here, live reload, so I'm going to add this dependency. So now very simple, just click on generate. A zip file will be generated. Okay, so yeah, it's generating. As you can see, a zip file has been created over here. So now what I want to do is I need to extract this zip file, then I need to import this project in my Eclipse ID. Okay, so let me open in the download section, since it is in download. And suppose if you want to keep this project anywhere safe in any other drives or C drive, whatever it is, so you can change the position. As of now I'm keeping downloads itself, so I'll just click a right button over here and click on extract files and click on OK. Got it? So here the file has been extracted. So now very simple, just go to your Eclipse ID. Okay, here at the package explorer, if you click a right button, you can able to see an option called import, or else you can go for the file option as well, file, import, and you need to redirect to where your actual project is. So here just search for maven, you'll get a maven. And you'll get something like this, just expand that and select the existing maven projects. Okay, so now click on next, and here you need to select your project folder, so which we just extracted now, right? So click on browse, and let me redirect to downloads, and I'll open Instagram over here. I'll select this folder and click on select folder. So here you can see the pom.xml file, and I'll click on finish. As you can see over here at the bottom right side, my project is getting imported and it will take some time. Okay, so please stick on to this, it will take some time to import all the projects. And here I should see my Instagram project. As you can see, I have only less files over here. When the imports gets completed, you can able to see few more files and folders over there. Okay, so you guys can able to check that. All right, so there are only few files. Once the imports get completed, you can able to see lot of file just like this. Okay, so now it's already 98%, so it's been completed. Cool. Alright, so now if you expand this source main Java, you can able to see this main package called com.instagram.instagram. So I have a very lengthy name, but I should have checked the earlier itself, but no problem, we'll follow this method as well. So this is the group name which you need to follow. But yes, okay, as of now, no problem. So here I'm going to create five more package. So this package is by default is the main method package. As you guys know, our application always start from main function itself, okay, or main method itself. So now I'm going to create five more packages. So let me tell you one by one. First package will be for dbutil. Dbutil means you need to give the connection for my database. So for that reason, okay. Second one, what you need is you need for um, a model. You need to create a model, okay, or an entity. You can call it as entity as well. So like what all the data which is there in table attributes. So if you're performing CRUD operation on based on that, means you need to have a model of that, okay. So next you need to have a service, means what all the operation which you need to perform. As per this video, we're gonna perform only one operation, which is login validation. So that's the reason, okay. So service, we're gonna define that operation in the service method. And in service implementation package, we're gonna create a file called service implementation, where we're gonna write the function, okay. We'll write the code, means service is to define, service implementation to write the code. Clear? And at last we'll be having one more package which is gonna store controller, and there will be creating one more file called controller, where we gonna call, we will be creating an API to call these methods. Okay, cool. So let's create a package quickly. Click a right button over here and go for new, go for package. So the first package I'll create is dbutil. So com dot, you need to follow this method itself. As you can see, your package name is com.instagram.instagram. So I need to give it as Instagram. I'll do one thing. I'll go to this pom.xml. I'll see whether I can able to change this group. I'll go for pom.xml because instagram.instagram it is very lengthy, so that's the reason. So I'll mention this as, let me see the group name. Group ID is com.instagram. So yes, this is fine as of now. I'll try to change here itself, okay. So rename this, go for refactor, rename. I'll make it as com.instagram. That's all, okay. I'll click on OK. So make sure update reference is checked, so that it is gonna update for every part. Alright, so and click on continue as well, and it will take, yes, it's done. I'll close this pom.xml file again. So let me create a new package for dbutil. First package com.instagram.dbe, and make it as small d, dbutil, okay. Dbutil, click on finish. Okay, first package has been created. So let's create one more package for model. So com.instagram dot model, okay. So next we need a service, new package com.instagram dot service, okay. I'll do that. I'll just copy this, finish, and one more package and paste it over here, service impl, service implementation package, okay. So last one will be our controller, new package, instead of com.instagram dot, mentioned as controller, and click on finish, okay. So now first we'll give a db connection. So just select this dbutil, click a right button over here, go for new, go for class, and I'll give this class name as dbutil, okay. dbutil means database util, and click on finish. So a new class has been created. Alright, so now what you can do is, I want you guys to concentrate very carefully over here, because this is where you're gonna give a database connection. See, now I'm trying to give a database connection, means which database I'm gonna using, right? First we need to create the database first. So here I'm using an application called MySQL Workbench, okay. I'm using a application or a software called MySQL Workbench. Inside MySQL Workbench, I'll be creating a database over here. Okay, so that application will take some time to open. Okay, it's been opened, no problem with that. So I'll open this over here. Suppose if you don't know how to install this MySQL workbench, means you can, or I'll drop a link to download and install, and I have specified very clearly how you can able to download and install MySQL workbench. And sometimes you'll get an error while installing MySQL workbench, so I have showed you every step, so I want you guys to go and have a look. So I'll click on OK. Alright, so this is my dashboard of MySQL workbench. Clear? So here I'm going to create a database called Instagram users. So what is the query to create a database? So let's say create database. Database name will be Instagram users. Instagram users, give a semicolon and run this statement. So how are you gonna run? Just select this, click on this small button, your database will be created. So now here just click a right button over here and click on refresh. A new database called Instagram users has been created. So I'll click a right button, go for select default schema. Alright, so now first we'll create a new table inside this database over here. So select the tables, click a right button, click on create table. So let's say for example purpose, okay, so I'll keep this table name as users. Okay, table name as users, let me give it in smaller case like this, username or users. So I'll give ID. Okay, first normally every users will have an ID, so that's ID. And obviously we need a username. Let's say concentrate everyone. So let's say first their user will be having their own name, right? Name. Okay, let's say mail ID and contact number and bio, something like that. Just this for an example purpose, but mainly we focus on username and password. So I'll give username. All right, and the password will be password. Clear? So this is what all the information. So here I have mentioned everything as varchar itself, and you can mention the contact number as int, because phone number obviously it will be a number, so that's why I have mentioned as int, and everything looks fine. Okay, now click on apply and click on apply as well, and you can able to see an option called or a button called finish. So now if you refresh over here, inside this Instagram users, a table has been created called users. See, we don't have any data inside this, so first we'll add one data quickly. Okay, so insert into, what is our table name? Users values. So first one will be 1. I'll give a ID as 1 itself, and name will be, I'll take it as Iron Man. Okay, Iron Man. All right, and the comma. Next mail ID I'll mention as Iron Man or Tony Stark. Or let's keep it as Iron Man itself. Okay, so Iron Man at mail.com. Next we have a contact number, so I'll mention as 1 2 3 4 5 6, something like this. I'll just a random number over here. Bio I'll mention as I'm Iron Man. Okay, close this single quotes over here. So what is this? Okay, here I have included one single code. Let me remove it. So I'm Iron Man is done. It's a bio which I am giving. Username will be Iron Man. Okay, username will be Iron Man, no spaces, and password I'll give as 1 2 3 4. Okay, password I'm giving as 1 2 3 4, and this is a string, so 1 2 3 4, like this, semicolon, and run this. Okay, so if you do select star from users again, you can able to see Iron Man data has been inserted. So same way I'll add one more data. I'll give the data value as 2, and here I'll keep it as Captain America. All right, so let's say captain at mail.com, random, just random numbers which I am giving over here, like this. Wait for 745, something like this, just random number. And here the bio I'll mention as I can do this all day. Cool. So username I'll mention as caps, CAPS. Caps is a username of Captain America, and the password I'll give as 987654322. Let's say small, 98765. This is fine. So let's run this, and if you do select star from users again, you can able to see two data has been inserted. First one is Iron Man, second one is Captain America. So what's the database name? Instagram users, correct? Instagram users. So now we'll give our Spring Boot application connection to our database. All right. So first thing, what you need is a connection. So this is the default one, means we are not creating. This is the or the available import option. So connection is equal to null. First I'll give connection as null because we don't have any connection yet, right? And as you can see, it is throwing an error, so that you need to import this connection. So let's just click on import connection from java.sql, and I'll make this connection as private and static. So why static? The reason is, so the connection is not going to change all the time regularly, right? So that's why we'll keep it the connection always same, which is static. Clear? So okay, let me mention as db, okay, this is not required. So let's write a method over here, public and static. You know why? And I'll give a return type as connection. I want this method to return a connection. So let's say connection get connection is a method name which I am giving, get connection, like this. So here at the end I need to return a connection, right? So this is the object which I have created, correct? This is the object of this connection, so that I am returning over here. So everything will write the code over here, how we can able to give the connection. So if the connection is already established, means if connection is not equal to null, means if the connection is already existing, means obviously you can directly return the connection, right? You can directly return the connection, correct? That's the first thing. So if connection is not established, or if the connection is not there, means you need to establish a correct connection, right? So else. So first thing here, you need few more things over here. Okay, first one is at the driver. So let's say string driver is equal to, this is the default driver of JDBC connection. Okay, JDBC connection, just give a semicolon. And one more thing here, by including this, go for this source main resource and open this file called application.properties. Okay, just open this file called application.properties. So now here I'm just pasting one connection over here. Okay, like this. All right. So now what is this? So this you can able to get directly in the internet as well. So not necessary to remember this. And let me explain what it is. So the URL of data source is this one, and my database name is, what's my database name? Instagram users is my database name, right? Yes. So root is the username of my workbench username, and the password is this one. Clear? So I'll go to my db util again. So here I need to give the driver. So it's not necessary to remember the driver. Okay, so you can get it in the internet itself. So I'll just type it over here. So concentrate com.mysql, okay, dot cj dot jdbc dot driver. So this is our driver. Okay, JDBC driver. So next thing we have a URL. So string URL is equal to the double quotes. Which is the URL? This is the URL. Okay. So just copy this till JDBC. Now paste it inside this double quotes and give us semicolon. All right. So since we are not adding any security, so that's the reason I'll mention as use SSL certificate, which will be false, because we don't have any SSL certificate as of now. So that's why I mentioned as false, but it's not necessary. Okay. So next, String, what's our username? Username, as I told you earlier, so it will be a root by default, and the password will be string. Password is equal to, my password is, or my password of MySQL workbench is 123456789. Clear? So now I'm going to give the connection over here. Concentrate. So just you need to write one statement and you will get an error. Sir, you're writing everything now. How you're getting the error? See this. I'll tell you why it is. So class dot for name. Inside this you need to pass your driver name. Okay, just mention as driver and give a comma. So now what I'm trying to tell over here is, see, MySQL or the database never throw an error, it will throw an exception. So we need to handle that exception. So that's why, to handle that exception, so I'll enclose this in a try catch block. So just hover your mouse over here and you can able to see an option called add throws declaration. Just select that like this has been added over here. And also if you remove this, get an option to enclose with try catch block. So run with try catch block. So I'll select this one. Okay, this would be much more better while handling the errors. So here now you're going to give the connection. So connection is equal to driver manager dot get connection. Okay, get connection. Inside this you need to pass your URL, next will be your user, next will be your password. So this is what you need to pass it. Clear? And also this is throwing an error because here you have class not found exception. So SQL exception has to be handled. So that's why hover your mouse over here and you can see an option called add throws declaration. Just select that. You can able to see SQL exception has been handled over here. And this, if the connection has been established perfectly, the connection will be returned. Clear? So now I'm going to save my application. Just select your application to check whether the connection has been established or not, or if any error is there, means we're going to try to solve that error quickly. So select your Instagram application, just click a right button, go for run as, go for Java application. Okay, so my application is getting started. It will take a couple of seconds to get started, so let's wait for that. Okay, so it is starting, and yet it's loading yet. And okay, here you'll get this kind of pop-up over here. If you scroll down a little bit, you can able to see an option called your application name. So what's our application name? It's Instagram. So just search for Instagram over here. So where is Instagram? Where is Instagram? Okay, T, oh, okay, J, and my Instagram application. Where is my Instagram? Okay, here is my Instagram application. Right, so just click on OK. Your application will be started and you can able to view everything in the console. It is getting loaded. As you can see here, you can see my console. Okay, so our application is getting started. We'll see whether we have any errors or not. If error, we'll try to solve that quickly. All right, so yes, in the meantime I'll just check everything looks good or not. Okay, as of now everything looks good, no errors. Okay, cool. Alright, see, your Tomcat server has been started on the port number 8080, means you don't have any error. So connection has been established successfully. So our first step is done. Okay, yes. So now we'll create a model. So just click a right button, go for new and go for class. So what is the class name which you need to give? So what is the table which you have mentioned over here? You need to give this. No, not only this, also it's not strictly, but you can give your model name whichever you want. Since you are doing the CRUD operation for your table itself, so I have taken table only. So I'll click on finish. And what all the attributes which you need to get or you need to put, so that you need to declare over here. Okay, since I'm doing only username and password, okay, and that is available in the table itself, so I can take only username and password. But yeah, we'll just take only username and password as of now. Okay, yeah, username, password, and I'll take name as well. Okay, so string name, string username, and string password. So string name, comma, string username and string password, just give a semicolon. So now few things you need, which is just click a right button over here, go for source, go for generate uh, generate getters and setter. Just select this and click on select all and generate. So first step is done. So click the right button again, go for source, go for generate custom constructor using fields. Just click on generate again and click the right button again, go for source, go for generate constructor using superclass. Okay, click on generate, and the last one you need a toString. So source and go for generate toString and click on generate. So here your entire model has been created. Okay, yes. So now what you need means whatever the method which you need to perform, that you need to define in service. So basically in this package we are not going to create Java class, we'll be creating an interface. Okay, we'll be creating an interface. So just click the right button over here, go for new, go for interface. So that interface name will be, let's say I'll mention as user service. Just click on finish. So here is our user service interface. So here I'm going to define my method. See, I'm defining my method. Okay, so let's say, and one more thing, you need to annotate, you need to give an annotate as a repository, because it is a service. How can our Spring Boot application is going to understand whether this is a service? So that's why we need to mention as a repository. You will get an error, so you need to import this annotation. Just hover your mouse and click on import. Okay, so now we'll define a method. So public, okay, so let's say I want to return an integer. Okay, so whenever the correct username and password is there, I'll mention as 1, means 1. I'll set give a return as 1. If the username and password is wrong, I'll give us 0. Clear? So that's why I'm mentioning as int. So login validation. Okay, so inside this what I need to pass? I need to pass obviously username and the password. So let's say string username comma string password. Cool, and give a semicolon. Alright, so now click on save. See, now here you have defined, as you can see I have not returned the flower brackets over here. If you give the flower brackets, obviously it will throw an error. So now you need to give a semicolon. You have defined the method. So now where you're going to implement it? You need to implement in service MPL. This is a service, we are implementing this service over here. Okay, so just click the right button, go over here, go for new and go for class. So I'll give this class name as user service IMPL, user service IMPL, and just click on finish. Alright, so here what you have to do means, first step will be always annotate this as service. Okay, just import the service as well. Reason because, see, whenever the controller calls this method doesn't have the body. So we want this method to call this one. So why reason? Here abstraction is going to perform. So what is the definition of abstraction? Providing essential features without including the background details. So these background details we are hiding at this part. Alright, so now type it over here like implements user service. So we need to implement this service itself, right? So user service over here, right? Okay, so you'll get an error because you need to import this service in user service implementation. So let's import this. Okay, so user IMPL you need to import, means it is showing us add unimplemented method. So what's our unimplemented method? So here we have a method we have not implemented over here, so that it's showing to implement it. So hover your mouse over here, click on add unimplemented methods. So here you can able to see login validation. Clear? Very simple. Alright. So now we'll see how we can able to, by giving a username and password, and how we can able to validate in our backend application. Later we'll add a front end which is Angular. So now we'll see how we can able to validate with a backend application. So we'll start writing a code for that. See if you want to validate a user, right? So that username or the user has to be present in the database, right? So we have already added 2 username or two user data, which is Iron Man and the Captain America, right? So if we want to connect our application to our database, means we have gave a connection, but we need to pass our username and password to our database, correct? Yes. So now first here I'm going to write a constructor work here. Why reason, or what is the reason of writing a constructor? Because you guys, suppose if you guys know or don't know, but let me repeat it again. Constructor is called, or constructor method is called automatically whenever a class is called. So whenever this file is getting called, so I want the constructor to run and the connection to be established for the database. Got it? Okay, see over here like this. So let's say public. So this is my constructor, or this is my class name. So this is my constructor now. So like this. So here I'm going to call the connection. So what's the connection? So let's say first I need to define a connection over here like this. So connection, connection, connection. Okay, connection C has to be capital over here. So let's make it capital. Okay, so let's import this connection quickly. So hold your mouse and click on import connection. Got it? So now here connection is equal to, okay, connection is equal to, so what's the file name which we have mentioned, which is dbutil. So from dbutil, so in dbutil we have wrote a connection, we have wrote a method called get connection, right? So dbutil dot get connection and give a semicolon. So your connection will be established. So here obviously it is throwing an, because this is going to establish a connection for a database which is MySQL. So this has to be handled. So I'll mention as add throw declaration. So here we have SQL exception has been handled. Okay. So now here we have a connection. So with this connection variable, we'll try to connect over database. Okay. So let's say prepared statement, and this is the object of prepared statement. So statement is equal to from the connection dot prepare statement. Okay, inside this I need to pass a query. So what's a query, by the way? So the query will be, see, we need to select a customer which has a username and password is perfect, right? So let's say I'm going to write something like this. Just observe carefully. If you have any doubt, just rewind this video a little bit and observe and see this. Okay, so select star from customer. I want to select a customer who has a username, where who has a username is equal to whichever the username which come from the argument. So I'll keep like this. If the username is like this, okay, since the username is a string, so we need to enclose this in a string. How? So first you need to give single quotes, double quotes, and here at the end as well, close this double quotes over here and close the single quotes at the end, and this like this. Clear? And at the end you need to give a one more double quotes, and here this is good. So again you are getting an error over here. See, when the username come, so based on that user it is gonna select the customer. Okay, it is sent to the customer, then we're gonna validate it. Okay, yes. So why here it's throwing an error? The reason, because you already know. So whenever the SQL connection is establishing to your database, obviously SQL database or our database is not going to throw any error, it will throw an exception. So we need to handle that exception all the time. Okay, so just hold your mouse over here and select add throw declaration or surround with try catch. So I'll go for surround with try catch because it's the best method to handle your exception. So select this. Got it? So here there's an automated generated comments over here. So let's remove this, and here we have our statement. So here you can see is our query, correct? So we need to execute this query. We have a query, we have gave a connection to our database over here with the help of this. So now we need to execute this query. How? So it's very simple. Just you need to write a single a single statement. Okay, So let's say statement dot execute query, statement dot execute query. Cool. And I give a semicolon at the end. See, whatever the results come, see, if the username is Ironman, it will give all the Ironman details, right? So now I'm going to store this in a variable called result set. See, whenever the data is coming from the database means obviously it will be in terms of rows and columns. So that we need to store it in a variable called result set. So let's say result set, and this is the object of result set is equal to. So we need to import this result set quickly. So hover your mouse over here, and let's say just hover your mouse over here and import it. Okay, like this. Clear? Cool. So now what we can do is okay. So we have got an information of a user, right? So here, see, let's say yes, it will be in terms of rows and columns. So we need to do a looping over here. So like this, while result set dot next. Okay, so here I'm checking if, okay, if first I'll go see in the result set. Result set means it will be something like this. Okay, so in this particular result, if like select star from, okay, I'll do like this. This is the query which we have written over here in the Eclipse ID, correct? So if you run this, you can able to see Ironman data. So at what position you will get the username and what position you will get the password. So this you need to take it as a consideration. So this is the first column, second column, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth column. You will get your user name. So now go to your Eclipse ID again. If in the result set means rs dot get string, means I'm trying to get that string so that for the comparison purpose. So get string of sixth column, okay, sixth column, and if it is whatever the value which is there in the sixth column which is equals to, okay, which equals to which one, the username. If it is equals to username and username is perfect means we need to check if the password is also right. So let's say rs dot get string and from seventh position dot equals, okay, dot equals which will be password. Okay, if the from sixth column and the seventh column, if the sixth column username is equal to username which is given from the argument, and if the password from the seventh column is equal to the password which is given from the password from the argument, if both are equal means what we're going to do, we'll just set a flag is equal to 1 and give a semicolon, right? So if, oh, we have defined the flag over here. No, we have not defined a flag over here. So let's say here we'll define a flag quickly. So int flag is equal to 0. First we'll give it as 0. Okay, so here we have set a flag. If the credential is wrong, obviously we'll print a statement as, let's say, a print statement over here. So this will be invalid username or password, invalid username or the password. Okay, so I think yeah, coding part is done. Okay, see when, okay, here we should not return the 0, we should return the flag. Done. If the username and password is perfect means flag is setting. So whenever you call this method, okay, whenever you call this method and you'll give a username and password for this method means if user exists in the database and the username and password which you have gave is perfect means the flag will be 1. If it is wrong, flag will be 0. Same case, we'll be capturing this flag value in a front end, okay, with the login. When you in the login page, you'll give user and password. If it is 1, obviously username is perfect. If it is login 0 or if the flag is 0, obviously login credentials is wrong. So that you can able to capture with the Angular. So that we'll see in the next procedure. Okay, so first we'll test it in locally. So how are we going to test it? You need to create an API first. What do you want to create? You need to create an API, but where? In the controller. So here we have a package called controller. Just click a right button over here and go for new and go for a class. Okay, so let's say controller, I'll make it as user controller. Okay, oh yes, user controller, and I click on finish. Okay, so now this is a file which we have created, right? So how the Spring Boot application is going to understand this is the controller? So now what we'll do for this, we need to annotate as REST controller. So REST controller, and like this, just import that REST controller as well, and we are good to go. All right, yes. So now let's create a method first. So before creating a method, we need to create an object of this user service. Reason? So we need to call the user service ka login validation. So that's why we need to create an object of user service in our controller. So I'll keep it as private. This is the user service. Okay, object is user service. I'm creating an object over here as user service. So here you'll get an error, so that you need to import it. Okay, import it. And here I'm be annotating something called auto void. So what is this auto void, by the way? So auto void means, see, whenever you're trying to call from this particular method or from this particular object, means it will go to this, but here you don't have you have not written the code or implementation of this login validation, that you have written in implementation. Correct? User service implementation. So when you mention auto means it will be through automate. This is going to achieve a dependency injection. We call as dependency injection. So that's why we mention as auto while. So now let's create an API first. So first I'll create a method called public. Okay, public. So this method is going to return a integer. Okay, just an integer, which is a 1 or 0, which is flag, right? So let's say user login, yeah, this much is fine. Okay, so this particular method has to take two argument, which is username and the password. Correct? Just username and the password. So let's say like this, path from the endpoint means path variable, okay, so which will be our username. Okay, username, right? So next, this I'm going to mention as string username, like this, comma, again from the path variable itself. So path variable, so again string over here, spelling mistake with the string over here, so let's keep it t, and path variable and string t, string, and will be password. Okay, so now open and close parenthesis. All right, so from the URL you'll get the username, and here I need to mention the password as well. So let's say password, like this. So and you'll get the password. So that password from the URL will be saved in username and password over here. Okay, so now I'm going to create int flag is equal to from the user service object. See, when I give user service, when I click on dot, you can able to see a method called login validation, right? So login validation, just select this. See, here also it will be user, here also it will be password. So to not get confusion, I'll make this as user service 1 and user password is 1, or username 1 and user password is 1. Okay, so in this, what we need to pass? We need to pass username 1 and password 1. Okay, simple, to not get much more confusion. So that's the reason, because here also we give a username and password. So that's the reason I have mentioned as username 1 and username password is 1. All right, so next what you need to do is, if Means whatever the result come over here. If the result is 0, you need to check over here. If the result is 1, again you need to check over here. So if the flag is equal to 0, what are you going to return? You can directly return the flag value is 0. Okay. Else return flag directly. It will going to return a true value of flag. Okay, very simple. So this is the method, and here we're gonna create an API called, let's say, get mapping is fine. Get mapping. Okay, so import this get mapping quickly. So here I'm going to give a name as user slash username over here, and slash password. So when you mention in flower brace means this is where you're going to give a value. So this username will come over here, this password will come over here, this username will store in this username 1, and this password will store in password 1. So this is going to store the values from the endpoint, so those will be sent to a login validation and will come to our user service IMPL method. Okay, so this is very simple. All right, so now save everything, and if you have not installed Spring DevTools, means stop your application, run it again. Since I have already installed DevTools, so you can directly copy this. Okay, I'll go to my, which one, this one, browser. Here localhost 8080 is my port number which my application is currently running, so I am pasted over here, user, and here I need to give username and password. So username I'll give it as Ironman. So Ironman. So let me check the username of Ironman. So Ironman username is Ironman and password is 123. If we get any error, we'll try to solve that. Okay. So password will be 1234 and I'll click on enter. So let's see whether we'll get any error. So we got an output as 0. Means actually the username and password is correct, but why it's throwing an error, or why the flag value is giving as 0? So we need to get a 1, right? So let me check the username is perfect or not. So first username is Ironman and 1234 is correct. So we'll go to our Eclipse ID and we'll check whether what is the issue. So here we can see an error over here. So what is that error? Okay, Instagram user dot customer. Okay, customer doesn't exist. So if you go to this user service IMPL, here I have mentioned customer. It is not a customer, it's a users. That's an issue. So save your application. Okay, so since I have added Spring DevTools, this will be loaded automatically. So now I'll go to my browser again, and I'm going to give the same Ironman and 1234 and click on enter. So now you are getting as 1. Means the username and password is perfect. Same way, this is you're going to capture your front end and then you're going to redirect to whichever page you wanted through your web login page. So now here I have Ironman1234. If I give the password wrong, see, let's say I have gave some random password like this. When I click on enter, you'll get, oh, I'm getting 1 again. Huh? Why? Okay, this is because, oh, okay. See, here I'm printing as invalid username and password, but I'm not returning over here. That's why I'm getting 1. So to fix this, very simple, but everything is fine. As you can see, it is showing as invalid username and password, but we are not returning it. So we'll do one thing. We'll set the flag again 0. So the flag is going to be returned. Okay. So now go to your browser again. It is getting restarted. I'll go to my browser quickly. I have gave a wrong password over here. If I enter, now I got 0. If I give the correct username and password, which is Ironman and 1234, click on enter, I'll get 1. If the wrong password again, enter, see, you'll get a 0. Got it? So we'll try with the Captain America as well. So the user, okay, we don't have anything. Okay, wait, select star from user. So we have Captain America username as caps and password is 98765 is the password of Captain America. So username of Captain America is caps and password is 98765. When I click on enter, see the username of Captain America is caps and password is 98765. So that's why we are getting as 1. If you give a wrong password, enter, you got 0. So I hope you guys understood how you can make a login validation in the Spring Boot. So now for this application itself, we'll be connecting a front end which is Angular. Alright, so please stick on to this video and understand how you're gonna do it with actual web application. Okay, yes, is we're going to connect our front end application to our back end application. So technically speaking, so as of now we have our back end Spring Boot application which is in Java. So for this application we need to connect an front end application which is Angular. So specifically we are using the version Angular 8, and if you have not installed Angular in your system means please do install. I have provided a link to how we can able to install Angular in your system. So after that installation you can continue from this step. Okay, so now what you have to do, first let's create a project. Okay, create an application of Angular by installing. Okay, just what you can do, I'll do one thing, I'll just create a folder over here. Okay, so just create a folder, let's say front end. I'll just create a folder name front end. All right, so inside this folder I'll go inside, and here in the file explorer go for this path and type cmd. So a command prompt will be opened in this directory itself. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'll just give a command as ng means Angular new, the project name which I'm giving as front end itself, front end. Okay, so this will take there's a spelling missing in the front end but it's okay, you can make it correct. But yeah, so this will take couple of minutes to download, and for the first time when you click on this ng new, the application name, you'll get this option, would you like to add Angular routing? So give as yes and just click on enter for CSS. So it will take some time to install. So in the meantime what we are going to do means, I'll open my browser quickly. Okay, so in the browser what I need to search is, see, I'll be making a front-end application, but I'm not going to design the login page as of now. Okay, so if like everyone has different login page for as per their application, right? So I'll just take a random template from the internet itself, but our main concentration is to whatever the username which we give from our front end, that has to validate, and if the validation is perfect, okay, means if the username and password is correct, so our application allow through next page. If it is not, it should not allow. All right, so I'm just finding, or we'll, let's say, let's speak like this. You have a login page, you'll give username and password. If username and password is correct, so it will redirect to our home page. So we'll do this scenario. So for that we need one home page and we need one login page. Okay, so for login I'll take the code from the internet and we'll implement in our front end application. Okay, so let's directly search for login HTML CSS, very simple one. Okay, so yeah, here I got the first link from W3 schools. I'll take this one itself. Okay, so main thing, concentrate about the code over here. All right, so I'll scroll down a little bit over here. I can see an option called try it yourself. Just click on this, and so here is the login page. So this login page I'll be using. Okay, so let's see whether my application has been downloaded. Okay, it's still getting downloaded, so we need to wait until this gets completed. Okay, so yeah, let's go for the Eclipse. So my application is already running, so this is my API user username and password. So previously I have showed you, or a couple of minutes back I have showed you how we can able to do it. So let's test in the meantime. So localhost 8080 slash users, it was users, yes, user, Ironman is the username and password is 1234. If it is perfect, it will give 1. Okay, it is working. Yes, it is loading, it is taking time. Yes, it gives 1. If the password is incorrect, it is going to give 0. Got it? So same same thing we going to use. If the flag is 1, obviously validation is perfect from the backend. If the flag is 0, username and password is incorrect. All right, username or password. So let's see our application. So it's still downloading, so we'll wait until this gets completed. Okay. As you can see over here, the application or the Angular application has been created. So now what I'm going to do, just you can type as code space dot. So now what happens with this? So when you type code space dot, your current application will be opened in your Visual Studio Code. So now click on enter. Okay. So now once it gets open, I'm going to close this command prompt as well. As you can see, Visual Studio Code has been opened from this particular directory itself. Okay. All right. So next, okay. So it's getting opening, it will take some time. We close this and expand this over here. Okay, so now what we'll do is first we'll start our Angular application. We need to see how the output looks like, right? So go for this terminal and go for new. Okay, and here you can able to select whichever the command prompt you like, but actually personally I like git bash, so I'm going to select the git bash, and you can select command prompt as well, but I'll go for git bash. Okay, so yes, so next here I can able to get my git bash. Yes, git bash. The command to run your application is ng serve. Okay, ng serve is the command, so I'll just click on enter. All right, so now I'm going to open one more git bash for creating a component. So this git bash for running. Okay, the server command requires to run in the Angular project. Okay, so as of now what it shows is when I give code space dot, it has been opened in the front end folder. I need to go inside this again. So now cd front end. So now I can able to run this command ng serve. So this is going to start my application. Okay, so it will take couple of not couple of, it will take some seconds or some minutes, sometimes depends on your system speed, and it is going to start. It will take some time, and the first time you are running the application means it will take time. Okay, so this is the one more bash, and in the meantime I'll open this source and I'll open app. So your entire application will be running from this. Okay, so here we have app component.html. So whatever the output which you are gonna see from the Angular application, it will be from this. So this will be deleting now, like in couple of seconds after when the application gets started. And here you need to make sure that this should not be deleted, router outlet. So this is with the help of this only you can able to move from one page to another, one component to another, something like that. All right, so let me check whether application started. Okay, it is still starting, it will take some time. Okay, so now in the meantime what I'm going to do, inside this app itself I'm going to create two component. Okay, one is for login, another is for home. Okay, first let's create a first component will be here. I'll type it ng generate, c means component, and component name will be login. Okay, login. All right, so once this component gets created, we'll create a one more component called home. Okay, home. All right, so this gets completed. Generate command request to run in Angular project, but project could not be found. Oh, again this has been opened in here. Okay, let me shift it over here. So front end, yes, now we can run the command ng generate c login. All right, so let me check what is the progress on running the project. Okay, done. So application has been started. I'll go to my browser. So I'll type it as localhost 4200 is the default port number. 4200 is the default port number. And when you run the application for the first time, it looks something like this. Okay, so if you see, and we are going to remove everything, we are going to add a login page over here. Okay, so don't, make sure you should not remove this, and whatever it is there from here, just remove everything. Okay, so select everything, and from here select everything till up, and just delete everything. Okay, so I'll do one thing, I'll just cut this, cut, control A, delete, and paste it. Simple. Okay, make sure this has been auto saved. Okay, auto save has been enabled in your Visual Studio Code. This will make your coding process very easy. Okay, here the login component has been created, so expand this and just delete this login component.spec.is. This is not required, so delete this file. Okay, so if you see the output, I have deleted the code, right? So your output looks very blank now. Okay, so we'll be adding a login page UI in couple of seconds. So I'll create one more component called ng generate component home. Okay, home. All right, so here first see, whenever I'll call slash login in the URL, it should call login component. So for that, what you have to do means you need to go for app.routing.mol.ts. This is the file. Okay, app.routing.mol.ts. So here you need to mention the routes. Okay, you should need to mention the routes. So here in the route section, let's say first thing, flow braces path. Okay, this is the path which you will be giving, path colon, let's say login. Okay, comma component. So what is the component of login? So just open this login.component.ts and copy that class name here, make so that you won't make any spelling mistakes. So login component, and paste it over here, and you'll get an error over here. So the reason, because you need to import this login component. So just hover your mouse over here, you'll get an option called quick fix. Just click on quick fix and import it. That's all. So what happened over here, we'll check it. Okay, go to your browser, and in the URL, let's say give slash login. When you give slash login, you can able to see a output called login works. So where does this come from? In login component, by default you can able to see this. So in the URL, when you give slash login, it is gonna run this particular file. Okay, but we want a login page. So I'll go to my browser again. Here is my code. So first I'll copy entire CSS. So CSS starts from here to till here. Okay, this I'll be pasting in the CSS of login. So here is CSS. So I'm gonna paste over here. So now everything is fine. So I'll go to the browser again. I'll copy the HTML code from here. From here itself I'll copy till body tag closing. Okay, so login component.html. So removing this line and pasting it. Okay, so now let's go to a browser and refresh this. So now you should see your login page. So image is not coming. The reason, because we don't have image in our locally. So we'll do one thing, we'll take this image and we'll keep it. So open image in new tab and save this image. Okay, so I'll save inside my project folder. So my project folder is front end. Go inside source. You can able to see an option called assets. So select assets and click on save. Okay, so now we need to give a image path over here so that image will be displayed. Okay, so go to your code again. Here find for this image tag. So how to give a path? So if you observe over here, asset is here and login app source. So if you want to get the access of this image, means you need to come outside the login page or login component. So the method is double dot slash to come out of the directory. So now I came out of login page directory, login directory. So again I need to go back from app directory. So I can able to see assets now. Open assets, select this image. So if you see now, you can able to see your login page with the image has to be displayed. Oh my god, image is so big. So let's reduce the size. So I'll go to the code again, and here probably this is the image, means they might have written in the CSS itself. So yes, so width is really huge. So I'll make the width as 10%. Okay, so now I'll go to my browser again and refresh it, and normally it takes auto refresh. So now our login image looks perfect, right? So if you want, you can increase to 20%. I think 20% would be perfect, I believe. So let's see. Okay, this looks little huge. 10% is fine. Okay, 10% is perfect. Yes. Okay, so now what are the username? Wait, first we have created a login over here. We need to create home as well. So home component has been created. If you expand the home, delete this file first. Okay, so once you delete it, go for this, where you need to go for app.routing.mol.ts. You need to give a path for home as well. Just give a comma and do one thing, just copy this entire thing, enter, and instead of login, just type it as home, and instead of login component, just open this home.component.ts and copy the name so that you won't make any spelling mistakes. Copy and paste it over here. So once you have pasted, you will get an error. Just import that component over here by clicking on quick fix. That's all, simple. So now inside go for home.com.html. So when I call slash home means it is going to call this, right? So I'll mention as h1. This is a home page. Okay. So let's say I'll include one more heading as h3. Welcome to new world. Clear? Yes. So I'll go to my browser now. Instead of login, I'll give it as home, and it looks something like this. So home page is getting open. So design you can create as per your application. Just we are concentrating only on login validation. Okay. Yes. And what you can do is, see, whenever you run this localhost 4200, you should firstly should get your login page, not after giving you a slash login. Correct? So that's why what we are going to do, when the application gets started, first time it should open the login page. For that, what we can do is go for app routing.mol.ts. Instead of this login, just remove the login. Okay. So now go to your application, to the front end, remove this login. Just type localhost 4200 and click on enter. You will get the login page for the first time itself. No need to give slash home slash login at all. Okay. So now we are good till here. Correct? So I'm going to close all the files. We'll go one by one. See, if I want to validate the username password means I need a model of that username password. So just how we have created users model, so that users model has to be created in login as well. So now cd means I'm just changing the directory, cd app. Okay. I'm inside app, right? Yes. Okay, cd front end. Okay, source first. Source cd app cd login. Okay, so now I am inside login folder. So inside this I need to create a component, means I am not a component, create a class, so which is model. So ng generate a class name will be users. The reason users, because we have already created a model called users over here. Correct? So same thing. And also I'll do one thing, I'll just copy this. It has to be similar. Okay, users. I'll just copy this data types variables now over here. So let's create a class quickly. So when the class is created, along with that a spec.ts file will be created. So we need to delete that file when this gets downloaded. And yes, it's been downloaded. So just delete this user spec.ts. This is not required at all. So open this users.ts. This is our class file, just how we have done in our Eclipse. So paste it, and the format is a little bit different in Angular. So name comes first and data type comes next. So like this, name little bit ulta. So string. Okay. So string like this. So next we have a username. Username is also type of string, and next we have a password. So password is also of type string. Okay. So now these three all are not required. So I'll remove this, and yeah, now this file is not required at all. So I'm gonna close this file. Okay. Yes. So we have created a model. All right. So model is done. So now how to call it? So for that you need a service. So what am I service? See, I have told you, right? From my backend application, I need to capture to my front end. So my backend application will run in the port number 8080 slash when I give users and username and password. So that is going to give the validation. So with this end, for this endpoint, to capture this endpoint itself from the backend application, I need to write a service. So let's say so now currently I'm in login page. So let go back from here, cd dot dot enter cd dot dot. So inside app itself you need to create it inside app. So now let's do it. So ng generate service, service name I'll keep it as user service, or you can give it as login service as well, but I'll give as user service. So user service. Okay. Alright, so now it is getting downloaded, so we'll wait until this gets downloaded. Okay, so once this, okay, here the download has been completed. Alright, so now what you can do is open this service where we have, where it is, oh, where it is, where source inside, oh, this has been created inside source, oh, sorry, this has been inside created inside source. This has to be created inside app. So what we'll do is just delete these two files over here, delete it and continue. Oh, wait, by mistake I have selected the app as well over here. So first let me give cancel. No. Oh, thank God, cancel. Okay, here app has been selected. Okay, just select these two files only, these two files. Now click on delete. Yes, done. So go inside app folder, cd app, and now type it as ng generate service user service. Okay, so this will be created inside app itself, so this has to be created inside app only. All right. Okay. Okay, yes, here gets created user service dot ts. So let's open this. All right, so here I'll be writing a method over here. Okay, so I'll be writing a method. So method of what? So whenever the user will give a username and password, that has to be validated. So for that, first thing we need is, okay, let's write a method first. Let's say get, or get user data. Okay, get user data means username and password. All right, so this will take two argument, which is user name comma password. Okay, so don't worry, I'll explain one by one. All right, so let's say this method will be returning something. Return this. Wait, since you are connecting to http, you need to include the http client as well. So if you want to use the http means, okay, first let me type it. It will throw an error. I'll show you how you can able to do it. http colon client, http c l client, http client. So this will throw an error. The reason, because you need to include a http module to use this. So for that, what you can do means, go for a file called app.module.ts. Inside this you need to include the http client module. Okay, so what you can do is just scroll down a little bit. Here just give a comma and include http. If you want to use http client, you need to include http client module. So that's the reason. So http client module. So module, module, module. All right, so let me check whether it is going to work. No, you need to import it by yourself. So like this, import, let's say http client module, http client module. This is required http client module from let's say at from Angular itself, Angular. Okay, Angular slash okay, Angular/common slash http. Okay, now it's done. So this will throw an error. Okay, yes, so now we don't have any error at this part. Okay, so here you'll get an error. Okay, just you need to import this http client now. Quick fix and import it. That's all. So now you can able to use this http. So now type as this dot http, this will get the username and password from here. I'll show you. Get, just mention here, you need to give the single quotes. Okay, single quotes like this. Now careful, a little bit careful over here. So go to your browser. Here you have your path, right? This one, just copy the path and paste it inside this. Okay, So here we need to change few things. So this username and password, don't worry. So here we were giving by ourselves, right? So this part we need to replace with this username. So close a single quotes over here. Okay, close it, give a plus, and take this variable, paste it over here like this, and open a single quotes. Okay, forward slash has to be there, so close, and now again plus, take the password and paste the password over here. Now it's done. Just remove the single quotes at the end and give a semicolon. So now I'll explain you. See, as I told, right, as per our backend module HTTP localhost 8080 user, it will take one username like Iron Man or Captain America and the password 123, something like that. So where does this user and password come from? This come from this method. So whenever this method is getting called, when you click on that button login, okay, this function will be called, and the username from the first field and the second field will be passed over here. That username and password will come over here like this. Clear? So I hope you guys understood over here. Okay, so now this is a service. Actually, this is a service, so we need to call this in login component. So go for this login component.ts. Okay, go for this login component.ts. Here you need to write a method to call that function, or to call that function. Okay, so obviously first thing what you need is okay, so you need this service, user service. So for that, just copy this user service name, and inside constructor just mention as private user service the object I am creating now as user service, like this, the object which I am creating. Okay, so you'll get an error. So hover your mouse over here, click on fix, and let's say it is not importing. Okay, let me check quickly. Okay, here, sorry, here I forgot to give a colon like this. All right, so now hover your mouse, constructor. Okay, so this is not getting okay, did I made a spelling mistake? Okay, I made a spelling mistake over here. So user service name is only this much. User, okay, user service. All right, user service, and make sure the spelling is right, and colon is there, and okay, if this gets didn't imported automatically means we'll include ourselves. Okay, like this. Um, but wait, it should not throw an error actually. Okay. Okay, so here I made it ulta. So I did a Java, right? So a little bit ulta work here. So user service come over this side. Here you need to create the object as user service. Now you won't get the error. Okay, hover your mouse and you'll get an option for quick fix and import it. That's all. Clear? Cool. So now next what you need to do, just create a method. Just create a method. That's all. Alright. Okay, so method will be, let's say, login user. So this will take two argument. Let's say. Okay, let's take it. mm, okay, it's not required as of now. So this method is fine. Login user. All right. So now here, this dot. Wait, I need to make few changes over here. So before going to this, go to your login.component.html. Okay, so we need to include a model inside this. All right, so I'll mention this username text field. Okay, here we have our username text field. So this you need to mention as like this. So I'll make this name as username. Okay, nothing, just change the name, that's all. Password is password. All right, clear? Okay, so now type something like this. square bracket, common brackets, ng model is equal to model dot username. Model dot username. Make sure the spelling is perfect, just like this. All right. So I'll just copy this same thing. So what we are actually doing means we are storing our username in the model of Angular. So I'll show you how to do that. So again, this you need to change the password. That's all. Clear? So now this part is done. So now we have left out with the button over here. So for button, what you can do is here where we have the button, here we have the button. So let's say when the button is clicked. So when the button is clicked, so we'll call a method called login user, like this. Login user. Okay. So whenever, okay, for testing purpose we can do it. So whenever the login is clicked, so this method will be called. So now here we have mentioned the model, but we don't have the model in the component section, correct? So now what we are going to do is we'll create a model over here. Let's say model, what type of data you are expecting. So actually username and password will be of string, so I'll mention as any, like this, simple. So here we have created a model. So now here I'll create two variables. So where user is equal to this dot model dot, what we need to fetch? We need to fetch the username. So username. So this will get the username, and where password is equal to this dot model dot password. Simple. Alright. So now what you can do is from this service you need to call this method. Which method? Get user data. So now very simple. This is done. So let's call the method. This dot user service dot get user data. Inside this, what you're gonna pass? You'll be passing two arguments, which is username and the password. Okay, username and password. So you need to mention dot subscribe. So if, okay, let's say I'll do it like this. If the response colon boolean, okay, so equal to like this, and we'll mention as this dot get data. So what I'm going to do, I'll just create a one more variable called get data. Okay, get data of boolean. So that whatever the method is returning, I need to capture that, right? It has to be 1 or a 0. So that's why that I'll be storing that result in get data variable. So result, this result will come, could be a integer or could be a 1 or could be a 0. So that's why. Okay, get data is equal to res. So the result will be storing at this point. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, once this is done, so I'm going to do a comparison. So after this, if the result, if the or this dot get data, this dot get data is equal to true. True means always 1. So that's the reason we have mentioned boolean, right? So this dot get data is equal to true. Okay, so what we'll do is let's say we need to redirect to the home directory, correct? So for that, what, okay, we need to redirect from our login page to home directory, correct? So if you want to redirect from one page to another page, means you need to use something called router. So let's import that router over here in the constructor itself. So private, so router object will be routr small case, and the actual router will be like this. So let's import this router quickly. So import it, and here I'll mention as, let's say this dot router dot navigate. Where you need to navigate? You need to navigate to home. So like this. So mention slash home. This will be redirect to home page and give a semicolon at the end. So now it is clear. So now if we get any error, we'll try to solve it. Okay, since our application is already running, so I know application will throw one error. I know by default I know one error will throw, that we need to fix it. So here my application is getting open. I'll just click a right button, click on inspect. Okay, so okay, we can see an error. I'll open the console. So here it is showing one error. Let me check that. Here we have an error. So what is the error? ng model isn't known as property of input username. So input takes place of username. Okay, username ng model. All right. So there is an error over here. So that we need to fix it quickly. Okay. So I'll go to my browser, the code again. So let me check what is the error. Okay. So I'll come over here, login.html. So here what we can do is, okay, type text, good, password is good, username, okay, username is perfect, ng model, make sure the spelling is correct. I'll remove this required so that this don't disturbs for me. So ng model is equal to, in double quotes, model dot username. Here, so this you have written in html, so in angular you need to close this. Okay, input tag, so this you need to close it. Okay, so now I'll go to my browser and refresh. So the one error should come. I know cross origin error should come. Okay, go to the console. Okay, still there is an error. What it is? Template parse ng model, since it's known a property of input. Okay, we'll see what is it. Okay, here okay, since we have used ng module, we need to use some, a module has to be imported in app.model.ts, because if you don't do that, it will throw an error. So for that reason, now everyone redirect to this one, app.model.ts, and include a new module called forms module. Okay, forms module. So this is not going to throw you any error while you're getting the data. So quick fix, so this will be imported over here like this. So now go to your browser directly, and if you refresh, okay, still you're getting, okay, module. All right, so module, okay, this is perfect, and here also it's perfect. So refresh this. So I have refreshed my, okay, so let's give a username. I'll give username Iron Man and password 1234, and I click on login. So yes, isn't that cool? So if it is invalid users, we'll print an alert as invalid 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 users. Okay, so let's redirect to our browser again. Just refresh this. So I'll give an invalid username and password. I'll just enter random things over here like this. When I click on login, see, it shows an alert as invalid users. So if I give the correct one, Iron Man, password is 1234. When I click on login, so this has been successfully redirected to our home page. So now we have successfully done a login validation using Spring Boot application and Angular. I hope you guys understood this video. So go to the code again and go to the video again. I'll be giving this code in the description as well, so go and check that. Okay, and for along with this you need to install Angular, so that also I'll be giving the description as well. So we'll meet in our next video. Until then, take care, goodbye, bye bye.